Hello, welcome to InGeneral, episode 157, the Jurassic Outpost podcast. My name is Jack, and on this episode, I'm joined with the remaining Outpost members who have not seen Rebirth ahead of time. Fuck Universal. I'm joined with Alex. I'm joined with Assis. I'm joined with Jaden. How are we, guys? How are we, guys? How are we?
Bitter.
Guys?
I'm back.
Assis,
yeah,
we
I'm
missed
back.
you, man.
I'm awake.
I was out protecting, doing the Lord's work.
Where you were, I mean, you can't say
No.
exactly where you were, but you sent me some pictures, man.
It
Maybe
was
Barbados.
Instantly missed Canada.
Oh yeah, let's just say I was in Canada proper.
Yeah,
And
that
my
was
God, it was good to
rural
breathe the Canadian
Canada.
air. But
Hell yeah.
unfortunately, you know what I thought? Like during the deployment, I was like, oh, 1 month away, I can definitely avoid everything Jurassic Rebirth. But we had a TV out there, and we watch a lot of sports in the Army, and I think I've seen the whole movie, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. No, I mean, that is a perfect segue. So, I mean, unless you've been living under a rock or not watching sports out in the field, Rebirth basically has been released. Everybody's seen it but us. There was secret screenings across the USA in AMC's, Regals, all the cinemas did that $5
for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, fucking 2 weeks early. There was premieres that people got invited to. There was secret screenings held for fans and other media and influencers, except us. So, yeah, most people have seen the movie, but we have not. So this is kind of raw. This is kind of interesting to... I don't know, fucking rambling at this point. I don't know what's going on. Rebirth reactions. Let's talk about that. I compiled some for one of the Outpost videos. It's generally positive, but that is kind of what happens with people when you get to see the movie early, right? You're in that kind of, ooh, I've seen the movie early.
You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Exactly, yeah. Unless you're, who's that guy on?
Something Flickster.
No, what's his name? The guy who's like Jeff. Is it Schneider? Jeff
Schneider.
Ian Schneider.
Apparently, Universal are pissed at him for quote breaking embargo, and he was like, "You don't have embargoes when you release the movie at secret screen unscreen or whatever the hell it's called."
Yeah.
Hey man,
some people
he
already
might be a
posted the
weird
movie
dude and a
online.
bad guy, but I guess good on him for giving it.
Yeah, so I didn't actually read his review. Are you subscribed to him, Assis? You still like?
Oh,
pay for
not
his
anymore,
thing?
thank God.
No, okay. Yeah, so his review is hidden behind a paywall, but I get the impression it was not positive. So
That guy hasn't liked the Jurassic movie since freaking the first one.
okay,
For what it's worth.
yeah, okay. Did he not like The Lost World?
I mean, luckily, no.
What do you mean,
I'm
luckily?
I'm not taking anyone's review seriously that has like the Lost World in like their bottom like list of movies.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't
I
trust
do
it.
feel, aside from Assis, because he's a loud man, he's a JP3 boy. But aside from
You-
that, anybody
I'm a
that
JP3
doesn't
boy.
think The Lost World is the next best one behind Jurassic Park just isn't a fan, really. I think that's what it comes down to. Okay, let's talk about it. How we what when jumping ahead, reactions. I've seen a load of positive reactions. Some of the Outposters had positive reactions, but there's definitely some negative ones. What have
Oh,
you
yeah.
seen? What have you seen out there?
Well, the two fellas that I still follow these days because I'm old school is John Campia and Christian Harloff, and I would say they're more Star Wars and superhero fellas, but they were more like meh to not good, not good. And both times I've heard them criticize the script and characters, which is concerning. Um, Obviously, John Flickinger, a flick pick from YouTube, was one of the early ones where he called it just like the movie was blah. I think that was him. And those are the only three major negative ones that I've seen, other than like the one variety guy just calling it a movie.
Shock.
But it does seem like the issues that I thought would be present are present, as in it's almost a step back. They're saying it's like we're going back to an island with less compelling reasons. It literally just feels like the Lost World JP3 with a coat of Jurassic World paint on it, apparently, which was what I was fearing. And based on what I've seen, it might be a little true. And based on what we've seen, if you've been watching the trailers and all the TV spots, we've seen a lot of what is in the movie. So it's a little disappointing to hear from the negative reviews. It definitely tempers my excitement and my hype levels. That's just me though. There's a lot more positive reviews, but like you said, it's early days. People are more excited when the movie just is 2 weeks early.
Yeah. And a
2
lot of
weeks early.
people that got into those screenings were obviously Jurassic fans, so they were kind of prepared for it to be awesome. They want it to be awesome, which isn't a bad thing. It's just it kind of skews, your genuine opinion on it. And I think these days as well, with it's very fast paced, moves along at breakneck speed. I've read paper thin characters, but then equally I've seen a bunch of fans say how great the characters are and how great the dynamic is between the three. So I got no idea.
It might be the Lost World situation again, but for Jurassic World, we're looking at maybe like if you give a shit about the Rotten Tomatoes, I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. But maybe like a 50%, and then maybe like
high
80,
audience score. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Maybe 80 to 85, maybe high at 80s audience score potentially, and then we'll see what the box office is like though. That's what I'm most curious about. That's
it's
the
a
only way
weird
to-
time, isn't it? Like films you don't think are gonna flop, and a lot releasing in a very short window, and no IMAX. And I don't know how it works with all these
Yeah.
early ticket sales for $5. Like, what's the deal there?
It just seemed like a sign of not panic necessarily, but almost caution. Like Universal's aware of something behind the scenes, and then they're like almost trying to counteract that. If that makes sense.
I think,
Whether it
if
be
anything,
box
it
office
feels like
numbers.
strategy, but it feels like strategy in one particular area. Like it's a very different film for them to market. In the past, they've always marketed largely off the cast and maybe a couple of dynamic set pieces. I think we got a lot of big teasers of like the Raptors and the motorcycle for Jurassic World, and I can't think for the other two films, but they always sort of double down on one marketable area. Whereas with this, I think because it's got some A-listers in it, but they couldn't push it in the same way they could Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. It wasn't the same sort of vehicle. So I think they felt the need to push via word of mouth, which is what this whole campaign has been. But I think it's just going to have such an adverse effect because, like, socially looking online, it feels like about a week ago, traffic's just started to drop right off now. People have had their say about Jurassic and they're already moving on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Fallen Kingdom thing again. Remember in Fallen Kingdom? I think it was really released 2 weeks early in the UK or whatever, and it kind of like
Just a few
killed the
days,
hype.
yeah.
And yeah, it's I feel like the hype's definitely when I go in the chat, it feels like it's the hype has died down a little bit in terms of the movie because everyone's like seen it except for us four folks.
I think it's also they don't want to talk about it because we haven't seen it though. I think that's the main thing of why the group chat's not talking about it because they don't want to like spoil it anymore. Like not that they've spoiled it, but I think they're more just waiting for us to see it so then they can talk about it
I hope
comfortably.
that's what it is.
I think that's why. Speaking to Caleb about it, that's kind of seems like what the gist of it was. But yeah.
Yeah. Some of the Outpost reactions, they were mostly the same, but Jay Malone said how it kind of just asks more questions and doesn't give any answers, which I can understand it doing. Derek, I don't think Derek actually liked it. He was actually kind of negative about it, saying
Definitely affected my thoughts on the movie because
yeah.
he put it pretty like without spoiling it. He put a lot of I guess reality behind what he was saying, and it wasn't very vague, if that makes sense, but not without spoiling it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it made me be like, oh well, there's no like hidden mystery, I guess. After all, it's a pretty fucking basic A to B storyline, just like the Lost World.
Stop dissing the Lost World, man. You're just trying to get under my skin.
No. What I'm saying is, we've already been given like the super simple A to B plot lines with like Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and JP3. Even Fallen Kingdom had like a twist on that by bringing it to the mainland and putting it in the condo the condo. Right?
The condo.
Little condo out in the mountains.
In the mansion, right? So it felt like a Resident Evil movie. So like that's what I'm worried about this movie.
Yeah.
And it seems like it was true. It's literally a.
I don't think there's a problem with that, but then I do think you have to be quite smart because I feel like I've had this reaction, even with the first trailer, which was a great, it's still a really good trailer, that it was almost too easy to figure it out. Like to go, well, that obviously goes here and this goes here and this goes here. Whereas with the previous films, I feel like I didn't go into the film, literally able to almost spell it out scene for scene.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if it's just that, you know, we're so into this, and obviously we dissect everything in massive detail, like, oh, this person's not in this scene, or this is happening, etc. But it just feels like, given the fact that it is a very linear film, you kind of have to mask that a bit. Otherwise, you know, your audiences are going to walk in, you know, knowing what to expect. And I talked a little bit about this in the group chat the other day, that maybe Universal doesn't see the film in the way we see the film, whereas we think, you know, we want to go in waiting for a lot of surprises and a lot of these, you know, questions to get filled in. I think they see this as more of an experience movie, where the surprises are in the individual scenes, the way they play out, the feel, the tension, the suspense. I made like an example between comparison between Marvel and I now forget. Top Gun. I feel like you could have told me the entire plot of Top Gun, but I still would have had an amazing experience the first time I walked into the theater, because that was an experience film. You could have never explained to me, oh, you're going to feel this way in the chases and the crashes and stuff like that. Whereas Marvel kind of is very much marketed on cameos and twists and turns and stuff like that. You go into a Marvel film and you know everything, you're going to have a pretty boring experience. If you go into Winter Soldier and you get told halfway through Hydra are going to reveal themselves, you're a bit like, it's just not going to be the same. So I think there's just a bit of a disconnect there in what a Jurassic film is to some people. But again, we're a very, very small sector, the diehard fans, you know. So maybe to the general audience, it is an experience franchise. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I totally get that. I think that must be playing into it. Studio execs at Universal, or at least the marketing department at Universal, is never aligned with what the filmmakers have wanted, at least by what they say. But I wouldn't say the marketing for this, in terms of trailers and teasers and TV spots, has been that much different from Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. It's just so much of it. But as you said, because this story is quite different and almost simplistic in a good way, back to basics in an awesome way, right? We're able to map it out. They've shown too much, and we kind of know the major plot points. We know what's in the third act, what's in the first, what's in the second. So that is a bit of a shame, but then we're unique in that we're dissecting everything with a fucking fine-tooth comb. So it's a little tough. I just feel on the marketing side of it, the first two trailers were enough. And I was like, oh, they're only going to do 2 trailers. Great. This is like the final trailer. And then hopefully there'll be just TV spots with like little cut downs. But turns out they've just done 20, 30 TV spots and teasers with new footage. And they've revealed so much, like Ed Screen's death.
Which was cool, by the way.
I think all the deaths have been in the marketing. I don't think there's a single death that hasn't. So
far, I haven't been ruined by Sylvain's character and Philippine Village. I don't know how they die, and I don't know how
you can kind of you've got the before and after shots.
I haven't watched any of the TV spots like at all.
So me and Jaden are okay, I guess.
For
some reason I still don't know how they die. Maybe I've seen the footage, but I doubt it.
You could, like, as Alex said, you can kind of work it out based on stuff, but don't go looking, because if you don't know, that's at least it'll be a surprise.
Well, you shouldn't go in knowing how like if you went and sat down to watch JP, you know, you might factor that the big 3 survive, but I feel like everyone else was up for grabs. Like you wouldn't have sat down knowing who's going to die in that.
Well, so Malcolm's technically dead by the end of the book, so
exactly. So it's a bit of a twist. Which is why it feels a bit weird to send an audience in pretty much knowing verbatim who's going to live and who's going to die.
Universal must not be, I guess, confident. They must be like, yo, check all this cool shit out. And by doing that, they've shown the entire 3 major set pieces, I guess.
There was an interesting... Go on, Jaden. Sorry.
Oh, no. It pissed me off, right? Because, like, the reason why I haven't watched any of the TV spots is because I woke up at this time. I woke up at this time for the Summer Games Fest because I was an official co-streamer. Obviously, there was a bit of rumors and stuff like that Evolution 3 was going to be shown. But then the trailer gets leaked at 3 a.m., like 3 or 4 hours before the actual event of the show. So then no one came into my stream because everyone's already watched the trailer while I was asleep. Then after the Summer Games Fest, they revealed that there's 4 Spinos. Like, bitch, what the fuck?
Oh,
like, why are you revealing that?
I didn't know that.
Oh, sorry. That's why I stopped watching this TV spots, because that's what they revealed. And I was like, what are you doing? And then I posted the GIF on Twitter with DJ Khaled going, TV spots, Universal's marketing team, like, another one. Then people were tweeting, like, sneak dissing, saying, like, oh, everyone wanted a new trailers, more TV spots and all this stuff. And I was like, nah, I didn't. I only wanted the Raptors to be shown in the second trailer. I didn't want to see any
give me
mutants.
1,000 TV spots, but just recycle the same footage over and over again.
Don't show me I was like, I hated the first trailer where it was kept saying the same like audio cue, like survival's a long shot. This is the original facility of the Jurassic Park. I was like, yes, it was annoying, but I was fine with just them repeating that. Like I was okay with that. But yeah, no, like I feel like for
TV
us,
spots
especially,
that were kind of just cut downs of the trailers made sense.
Yeah.
But instead, they just gave us so much new stuff. And as we said before, you can work out so much about the movie from each TV spot. And diehard Jurassic fans are watching them. Most of us are watching that stuff. Stevie
Wonder could piece the movie together at this point. Like
that's the podcast title right there.
No, but I guess for us as well, like as international fans, like it's different because we're all outside of America and things like that. So I guess we have a different, because I've been criticizing the marketing a lot for this movie, where it's not Jurassic World, it's Jurassic America, because every exclusive that they've done, like the Discord collab with getting a cool profile picture on Discord, it was region locked to America. The Roblox cosmetics only available in America. So many other things were just available in America.
Roblox, for the marketing the video game stuff is only available.
Like cosmetics were only available in America. Well, $300 to $500 for a backpack, by the way.
And people will pay it.
Yeah, and I was just, it's just been like weird marketing. And for an international fan, like you can see it. Like it's like, dude, what the hell? And yes, like I'll say this real quick.
China are getting the IMAX.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, what
we'll probably reach 1 billion because it is getting marketed to China, which is.
We'll talk about the box office later. We'll talk about the box office.
As an international fan, and like seeing all the random influencers and like random people that only started making content about Jurassic with the first trailer dropped on TikTok, seeing people like that spreading around the misinformation that the movie is going to be R18, by the way, get invited to these premieres.
I was doing that and shit.
But these people were legit. Like Jurassic World Rebirth is rated R. You can tell by the teardrop from this fake fan made poster, and she used it as a real thing. Like,
but wasn't there that makeup artist Jaina Jabroni or something?
All she said it was brutally violent, and then people ran with that, saying it's R18.
She retweeted or
she reshared that girl's Instagram reel. That Jurassic World Rebirth is rated R, which is
she
probably
was like, it's brutally violent. Almost like to me, I was like, oh, you're confirming it's rated R. Nice.
Yeah.
I knew it wouldn't be, but
I have read some reviews where people have been surprised, like that it wasn't a higher rating than it is. They've said like, oh, actually, it's a little bit more gory than you'd expect from this sort of film.
I kind of feel like those people are just wet blankets. Though, because like the people think the Jurassic World era is like gory and violent.
No.
There's not a single there's a couple blood splats in that, but and Jurassic wasn't ever really inherently that gory, but it was more the tone.
There's a bloody severed arm in the first movie.
Yeah, and there was
they took out the leg. Yeah, they took out the leg.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
I would say Jurassic World with the Indominus Rex was pretty like bloody and stuff like that.
Oh well,
but it just doesn't feel real, does it? Like it doesn't feel alien level where you see something happen and you're like, oh my god, that guy's.
Those movies have problems that
like even Eddie getting pulled in half
and stuff not really land for me, I think. But I don't really want to get into a hate and match on the world movies because I could go for hours. But
I can actually defend the world movies here. What did you guys think about Gareth Edwards' interview about reviving a beloved franchise?
He's done so many interviews, buddy. You're going to have to be more specific.
Okay, so he did an interview last week with Universal, like.
No, I did watch that. I did watch that. Yeah.
And yeah, like I didn't watch it because I didn't want to like any more shit about the movie. But the biggest quote that came from there was that he said that, oh, we want to revive a beloved franchise on the 10th anniversary of Jurassic World. And I know, most of you guys here say what you want about Jurassic World, but we wouldn't be here without it. I don't know.
Great,
yeah, it's true.
The problem with it, I haven't seen the interview, but I got to say something. With all this, it's just PR speak to me. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
Nothing to this. The fact that okay, you want to revive an old friend, a beloved franchise, cool. Why'd you name it Jurassic World and not Jurassic Park then?
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you want to make it a Jurassic Park tie-in, why did you tie it to Jurassic World and not tie it to Jurassic Park's original creation?
Maybe they're going to Thunderbolts it next week. Have
Yeah.
ScarJo rip the poster in
Jurassic
half.
Park 4.
I don't know. It's just like David kept. He's not writing a Jurassic Park movie. Based on what I see now, he wrote a Jurassic World movie.
Well,
And
What makes you say that?
To be fair, the
well, here we go.
Outpost
Talk about David the Cap. Everyone starts being like, "Oh, hang on a second."
No. I'm just
No
saying.
retcons.
Outposters like Corey, Samantha, Caleb, Josh. They said that it feels most in line with the first two, the first three, the first trilogy, more so than the world movies. And those guys, like, not in a bad way, but they like the world movies more than me. So I don't know. That does say a lot. They are at least admitting, like, yeah, it feels more like the first three.
And at present, like, they only ever refer to the first park. Like, I've still not heard anything talking about Jurassic World at all.
Yeah. It
I
seems
read
like
that
they've been
line in the
really
trailer
like
was not
distancing
in the
themselves
fucking
from
movie.
it.
I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we'll find out
I've got a
next
sneaky
week.
feeling that we're never going to get real acknowledgement on. So this island was supposed to be a park facility that survived all the way through to the world era, and I don't think we're going to get to feel any of that. Like, I don't think we're going to get any acknowledgement of why there was another R&D facility in the park era.
Oh, speaking of bad writing, Alex, because that at the end of the day is bad writing. I've heard something terrible about a Snickers bar and a
Yeah.
Snickers. That just proves to me these guys have no idea what they're doing. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
depends
that's
how it
not a
plays out
Jurassic
on.
Park gag. It's
I
just
think it
not.
plays out how it plays out on film is a large part, because again, I've heard this, and there's a sign on the door that says no food or drink allowed inside the cold room.
Well, that's the inciting incident then. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
but
Like, come on, you
again,
gotta. You're running thin at movie 7. Like, come on, Dino Human DNA is like a no go, but Snickers wrappers ending a facility is a thing. Come on,
Spoiler. I feel like
I don't care.
that was a spoiler.
You know
Yeah,
what? I don't care. Most people listen to this damn podcast
but
and heard it.
as
I've heard
well,
this
this is the
rumor and
other.
I can't believe. I can't believe.
I've always had issues with like Jurassic World's inciting incident, that it's just like the guys go in the cage and a guy opens the door. Like, that's never felt quite as good as JP did to me, in terms of, how things kick off. I get where you're coming from, but I think it all depends on how it plays out on screen. You got to wait to see it.
Oh, okay, that's some capium right there.
Okay.
No retcons. No retcons. 9
Yeah,
commandments.
that's one of the biggest things I'm excited about for this movie. When I watch it, it's like, where's the retcons at Kepium? I know where you at.
Yeah. Like,
Kepium.
my thing is, right, and I feel like the movie is gonna be like, I'm pretty positive about the movie, but I feel like I'm still gonna leave the movie like, all right, so why the fuck did we go to this island and not just do it on Sauna? Like, I feel like I'll
That's
leave
exactly
the movie
what's gonna
like
happen.
that.
You'll see.
Yeah, and I was like, so what are we doing with Sauna? And I feel like I'm just gonna leave the cinema like that. I don't know
So
if that's
two
like with
things,
you guys
right?
and shit.
One, when talking about, so one of Derek's main criticisms was that it didn't, and Jay Malone said the same thing. It asks more questions than it gives you answers. So it's not answering lore stuff, and it's not really expanding the lore. It is, but it's not doing it in a way that it feels like, wait, how does it actually connect? Derek's main issue was that wait, what was his main issue? That it doesn't the lore there's no like explanation for any of it,
how this fits in. But again,
how it
I
fits in,
think
how the island fits in.
75% of the audience aren't going to care. They're not there for that. It's, again, that's us that give a shit. And I've got a feeling there may, this is based on something in the production notes, that I think originally this was going to be mainland and set in Costa Rica. And I've got a feeling it was when Gareth came in, they moved back to an island and wanted something that could be shot in Thailand because he loves Thailand.
Why do you think they moved
because
it from being
there's a
mainland?
quote from I think it was just something he wanted to do. I think he wanted it to be an island film, to be isolated, and I think he wanted it to be somewhere that he could shoot in Thailand and it would double for that location. So it's this mythical island in the Atlantic Ocean that didn't need to be. But they were very close to shooting this actually in Costa Rica. And I can't think any reason you would have shot there unless it was supposed to be mainland Costa Rica, just because they filmed 5 films that were supposed to be there in Hawaii, if you finally turn around and film in Costa Rica, you're not going to have it doubling for somewhere else because that just feels really redundant.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but then that would be a huge shift in the screenplay.
Yeah, and maybe we find out eventually, maybe we don't. But it's just a gut feeling I have that
Do
if
you
that
think it was like a mainland story, as if like these dinos had got out, or
No, I think they were probably well contained. Like, I think it was
Right.
still very much like an isolated area. Maybe there was going to be a component like in the novels where, you know, the compies were getting out and they're eating the dogs and eating the babies.
But I think my issue with that, if that was the plan, is that we are so far past that being a possible Jurassic plotline now. The world era, unless we go back in time, the world era fucked all of that up. Having a new park was such a stupid decision.
The thing is, every time we say that something's off the table, they go and do it. And at first we're like, we don't get how that could ever work. And then we have so long to sit with it before the film comes out. We just accept it without any explanation. We said the same thing about a new park. We were like, no, we've got 3 movies. Like, I don't see how the world can get back to this point where it would be acceptable to do that. They're going to have to do some heavy lifting in the exposition of Jurassic World. And Colin Trevorrow was just like, well, fuck you, I'm not doing it. We're gonna make the movie I want to make.
Yeah.
And they just threw us straight in and they were like, the world's moved on. No one gives a shit that all this has happened in the past. You know, we're not even going to talk about that. What T-Rex in San Diego? That didn't fucking happen. That's fake news.
But that's what pisses me off so much about the way the franchise has gone, because everybody wanted that Costa Rica mainland story where the dinosaurs are finally broken out and you follow the patterns that happen in the novel. And we wanted that Costa Rica kind of storyline, that mythical, like, are there creatures living in the rainforest of Costa Rica, or are they is it paranormal? What is it? Like, I love that mystic behind it. And everybody back then, before Jurassic World came out, everybody's fucking fan story was always like Costa Rica, the mainland, the raptors have got out and they're killing people, and all the different terminology that was used in the book. And now we're so far past that, we can't have that again. It just wouldn't work, because we've had a whole park. There's a whole new era of dinosaurs, and the whole like mystery behind them is no longer there.
Part of me wonders if that's why this film is decidedly a little bit vague about certain things, to not close the door on quite so many things. Because in the past, when we've been hyper specific about A, B, C, and D, you know, it leads to retcons later down the line. It's like, oh, we're going to have to write this in and hope nobody gives a shit because of this.
Yeah, totally. But this new island, like, I'll happily accept it. It makes sense, whatever. I'm sure the justification for it is that back then, after JP3, like, it was always like, what else have InGen done? Like, what that was always part of the story, but we never got it answered. Doing it now is great, but it's also like coming off the World movies. It just feels weird because, as you said, how does this facility truly fit in if it's supposed to be from the original park era? But this, they've said in interviews, it's actually the D-Rex was sort of made during the Jurassic World era. So what?
Oh, see, I'm taking it the other way. The information, like literally the production notes make it sound like the D-Rex is park era. It was their first attempt at a T-Rex splicing with different genomes to, you know, just fill the sequence gaps. Whereas the Mutadons, it makes a real point of saying like, no, this was the first iteration of like the hybrid program, which, you know, timeline wise fits in really nicely with Jurassic World.
This mystery island that we've never heard of before in the franchise at all, same as Lockwood, we'd never heard of him before, and then all of a sudden he's Hammond's business partner from way back in the day, which is fine, but then they kill him with a pillow, you know, whatever. but this whole island was used both by InGen in the 80s and 90s, and by Masrani. Like, how does that?
Yeah,
but it wasn't Masrani, because we've seen an InGen chopper, we've seen InGen all over the facility, we've seen that these new tanks which house these creatures have InGen all over them.
Yeah.
So what is actually happening? Did Vic Hoskins know about this facility? Like,
I don't think we're going to get any answers to that.
No.
I think, again, we're at that point now where they, you know, we've had enough time to sit with the fact there was another facility. They're like, the audience will buy it. It's fine. And it's a shame because, you know, we love that level of detail. We want the world expanded. You know, we want to know more about these hidden agendas and things like that. I still think, if it were me, I'd love the mainland story 100%. But if they wanted to do this somewhat slightly convoluted park world mashup facility, I wish it had been one of the places they'd leased for another theme park, the park in Guam or the park in Europe. So that was its purpose in the park era. it's half a park that never got off the ground.
Oh yeah,
And
and they
then
can have like some of the construction
exactly,
happening, very
billboards,
park-y.
things like that. But and then it was picked back up again in the World era as the new Site B to support Jurassic World.
Right.
Because Sauna's out in the open at this point. It's got no working facilities left. They needed somewhere new as a base ground, so that then we would have got this great blending of two aesthetics. We'd have had this, we could have had a theme parky side mixed in with a more modern laboratory side.
Best of both worlds kind of thing.
Exactly, it could have been really, really cool. And that would have been my take.
Yeah, but then that's kind of what you said about Sauna too. We've never seen Sauna. All it is people making comments about Sauna, like, "Oh, we took the dinos from Sauna." We have no idea what's going on that island.
Yeah.
Rebirth.
It's just empty. There's just no one there. It's just a
thing,
tumbleweed.
Like, Rebirth was it does make sense to have gone back to Sauna for Rebirth.
I don't think, because we have that line from Ramsey in Dominion where he's like, "Oh, most of the Sauna animals are here too." I guess it just wouldn't have held up. It would have been one line to retcon. It's and this is what I mean. They write themselves into corners because they said that
Colin wrote himself into corners. Wrote the franchise into corners. Emily Carmichael and Colin, bloody, and Derek Connolly. Who else wrote those movies? That's it. Those three.
I also think this. Oh shit! Are you alright, Aziz? Oh, do you cut out? Oh no, my bad. No, I asked this question
I'm not all right.
3 weeks.
We're on the cusp.
We're like
another bad movie.
I asked this question 3 weeks ago in the group chat, and I don't know, seeing everyone's reviews and us talking now, it kind of made me think about it again. But I feel like this movie just would have been better, and there would have been a lot more we would have been less criticizable. Oh, is that a word? Criticizing? Criticizing,
sure.
Yeah, that one.
Critical.
If it was just a sorry. If it was just a prequel, I think it would have been better if it was a prequel. Because then it would have just been less questions like this, less of us being like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. But if they did a prequel, I feel like everything we're saying right now would be okay. And I feel like
I get what you're saying, and I was kind of hoping that it was a prequel so that it could feel like the JP4 we never got, but they just would never do that because we've just come off the World era, and the audience, they probably assumed that the audience would be way too confused to figure it out. Like, wait, when's this set? Who, when was Jurassic World?
So when is this movie set? Because we've had a synopsis for ages saying it's 5 years after Dominion, and then I'm being told in the opening, and this film has opening reading. It gives you some research at the beginning of the film.
I hate reading.
That it's set in the modern day. That it's set in 2025. So when the fuck is this movie set?
I thought it was meant to be 2028.
Yeah.
But
apparently, I think I tell a lie. I think it says something that this is set 32 years after Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Puts it in the modern day.
Yeah.
It's 2025.
Yeah.
What a weird way to tie into keep tying into Jurassic Park 32 years after. It's it's not really a Jurassic Park movie in almost any sense. It's
it definitely
Jurassic
coming
World
off the member berries thing.
And that's what I mean. If they should have done a prequel, if they go if they're going this route where they just want to be Jurassic Park, going back to basics, then do a prequel and separate yourself from the world IP. I feel
do a prequel. Dude, the only new thing at this point is Dino Human DNA. I'm telling you guys, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, that was Maisie. Maisie was Dino Human DNA for sure. Yeah. You saw that shot in Fallen Kingdom with her and the Indoraptor.
How long have I been saying that for? For the long-time listeners, you guys have been.
The first time we met her, she was wearing a fucking tail.
I fucking hate Maisie, and I hate that whole fucking storyline. I hate the Jurassic World era so much. Rebirth at least looks better than that shit. At least it feels better.
Can we do a nice segue onto how we're preparing to watch?
Hold on.
Because I have a really good.
I gotta make this point. Deleted scenes. Apparently, Gareth said in an interview, which I have not listened to, that there was a much longer version of this movie that might contain some of this lore that we're missing, right?
The OG was even shorter. Apparently,
he was really specific. He turned around and said that he got the movie down to just over an hour and a half, and Uni turned around and were like, "No, put some of that back in, please." So they filled it back up, but he said there's 3 real deleted sequences. The only one he really talked. Yeah, he said there's more to the gas station scene, and I've got a real sneaky feeling it's the raptors that have been left on the cutting room
You
floor.
shut your whore mouth.
Because I think somebody told me the shot
Fuck
of
that one.
David Iacono saying like, "Tell me they're not raptors" or whatever isn't
Yeah.
in the movie. So I think that's where
Oh,
we've trimmed
shit.
some fat.
Dude,
Why would
that's
you cut? See, okay, that's another
Who
point.
yeah.
I
thought
made this on the
Mutodons
last
is a
pod.
good alternative to wild raptor? Who thought
Yeah,
this? Oh,
Jurassic
David
Park
Tepper.
3-esque raptors, bro. Yeah,
I'm
why
not. You know
you
what? I'm
David
not.
Tepper has no idea what he's doing.
I'm not a fan of the winged mutodons, and I've said this as soon as we learnt them.
No,
It's
it's
just
stupid.
obviously it makes sense. Okay, this
Mm.
island, if it created the Distortus Rex, then we're gonna have more of these failed mutants. But this one isn't quite failed mutant, as you said. It's kind of like it was the first attempt at kind of splicing DNA to create hybrids. But the whole point is that it seems unnecessary, especially doing a scene that's a callback to the Velociraptor scene in Jurassic Park. Raptors have not been scary since the third movie. Wouldn't have this been the prime opportunity to just
You
have
brought back
raptors?
the JP3 Raptors too.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
almost
do
like
and
you
not
knew.
to use them
you
is
like
criminal.
remember like basic dinosaurs? You want to call them basic,
Oh,
like
even
non-hybridized dinosaurs can be fucking scary too.
Genuine
Remember?
dinosaurs, like
Yeah.
Genuine
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs, yeah. Oh, they've
Yeah.
all got frog DNA, so they're all hybrids anyway. I hear the world
Jack,
fans
dude, the
cry.
worst part, even worse than that, like the mutant dons even happening during a JP3 resurgence, is the fact that the first trailer showed us a
The
two-headed
two-headed raptor.
Lost World raptor.
Mm.
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 So it's like, oh, 'cause you're literally teasing us with the two coolest raptors, and
Yeah.
now we get mutodons. So like, I get it, but like, just because you saw a bat, my guy,
You
doesn't
know,
mean you can
so
ruin fucking
you make
raptors.
a really good point, Aziz, that like I'm really sick of CG heavy movies putting unfinished shots in the trailer and then altering them so massively. Like I really don't care for them swapping the two-headed raptor out for the Mutodon.
Yeah, I don't think
because
Assis has probably seen in like some of the more recent TV spots, those shots from like the InGen lab with the two-headed raptor
It's
and
a
the
mutodon now. Yeah, I've seen that.
like
Yeah.
completely changed, and like even the actual tank that it's housed in is completely changed. I don't understand.
it's
wait.
not. It's the same tank. They've stuck digital displays on it, which I'm
Who
assuming.
had the
It's not just
idea?
that though. It's like the glass is
I think
warped
it's
in a different
smaller.
way. The edges
Yeah.
curve
The
around
shape's still the
differently.
same. I'm sure it is.
It's
Dude,
the
either
basic
way.
shape is the same, but the whole thing is like completely different.
Whoever
It just
whoever had the idea, whoever was the creative behind putting the Lost World times two heads in a tank, that man should have more creative power than the people that do now. That's what I'll say.
a
Deal with
two-headed raptor makes more sense than fucking winged mutodons to have in
Yeah.
this
who
story.
wants a winged raptor? Like I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
it should-
Children,
you're
teens.
doing the fucking, you're doing the
TikTok.
scene with
Toys.
literally
Mattel.
Brain rot.
Mattel.
it might be because of toys, but it pisses me off that we're getting a gas station scene mixed in with the kitchen scene, but the only difference seems to be it's a little bit more modernized, and instead of raptors, we have winged raptors. But the problem with that is you're still giving us the exact same visual language of the raptors stepping with their claws, except this time they're
Yeah.
stepping on a Mountain Dew bottle. I'm like, that's not enough. That's not creative. Where's the
Agreed.
creativity?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
why
I just
I'm like, that's the thing that upsets me. It's like Jurassic World with a new, I mean, a Jurassic Park with a new coat of paint, but the paint it's like kind of shitty and old.
yeah.
I'll be pretty upset if what Alex was saying was true, like that there's actually a 3-hour version, because I know Dominion's pretty shit, but like at least the extended version of it,
It does make
kind
it
of
better.
Definitely
yeah,
helps.
it makes it better.
Yeah.
So
You can't watch
I
the
I
theatrical version.
yeah, you can't yeah, no, you can't. But so that's what I'm thinking. Like imagine like the real movie is gonna be this one that comes out a few months later with all the deleted scenes in it.
The
Then it's gonna
IMAX release.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be stupid if they do it again, because the main criticism for Dominion was, why didn't you have the extended edition as the real movie? And if they're gonna go down that route again, then they're pretty much just following Dominion's footsteps, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So like
But
it's just kind
isn't
of
that what Gareth was saying, that they might be able to do a Blu-ray extended cut?
He did say like I think he said he assumes it'll end up on the home release. Like it wasn't definitive in the slightest. It was like, well, logically I'd expect you'll see those scenes eventually. Like there was no confirmation there. People just took it and ran for it. ran with it rather.
Because one of the main criticisms I have heard is that the first half is slow. I'm like, okay, slow in a bad way or slow in a good way? Because you do want to learn the characters, you do want to build some kind
I
of
heard they're saying
relationship.
hour plus before any dinosaur action. I'm like,
I heard it was
that's
45
kind of a
minutes.
good thing.
Mm.
Well, hey, either way,
yeah.
that's still great. Remember the Lost World Jurassic Park, and I don't mean
it was like
second
40
movie,
minutes,
I mean
like
first
without
and second
dinosaurs.
movie. You don't get the fucking dinosaurs right away. You got to wait a little bit. I'm okay with
Good. Yeah,
it. Builds up to the anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into how we're preparing. How are we preparing?
So, like, my take is the film I want to watch before I go in is Jurassic Park, because I feel like it's going to have the closest connection. But I do want to watch the other films, so I decided to go reverse order, Dominion down to Jurassic Park, and
start with the worst.
Yeah, well, I realized after I finished Dominion, I was like, I only watched half of that, and then I stopped paying attention. Like, I'm just so done with it, and I haven't been able to psych myself up to watch Fallen Kingdom. I feel like for some reason, when it came out, I saw it so much in theaters. When the home release came out, I watched it so much then, and I've just never gone back to it since, because that was when we were in the midst of this trilogy. We were right in the middle point. So I just really immersed myself, and now there's just nothing new there for me on any watch. Like, I don't watch it and get drawn into anything different. There's nothing else to it. It's such a superficial film.
Yeah, I Fallen Kingdom was the one where Outpost went silent, and we didn't do pods. We didn't update the website. We just all checked out because we were so let down by that film. And by the time Dominion came around, it was like ready for round 3 of trash. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't blame you, man. I've not watched Dominion since it came out, and I never plan to watch it again. I can't. I just am so disappointed with those movies. They're just the complete opposite of what I wanted. But if I was to watch them, Jurassic World would definitely be the best one of those 3. It's the most coherent. I think Colin was firing at his best on that film. I think the passion was there.
It's a good summer movie. It's it's got scale.
Yeah, but it's just not a park movie.
No, it's not. And we had this conversation before, didn't I? Where we said, like, Jurassic Park is a film by all definitions. It's a film where there was craft in every layer of the cake, from the music to the production design to the casting to, every layer. Whereas Jurassic World is a movie because it just doesn't have that level of care or cohesiveness throughout. Like, there's loads of great things about it, but it doesn't feel by design.
Yeah, that's a good way
I get that. And as a young fan, I can agree with that. Like, that's a good way of putting it. I've never thought about it that way. So, yeah. But I like the Park trilogy better anyways. Like, you always have. And that's how I've been preparing.
Yeah, good boy.
I finished JP to JP3 yesterday. I don't know if I'll have time to watch.
It's your first watch, right?
Oh, what did I think? Yeah, Jurassic Park 3 is the best thing to touch cinema in history. Yeah.
Shit, I need to record that video.
Yeah, me too. Shit.
Can we just do it now together, side by side?
Yeah, no, JP3, that's my baby, man. Like, I never get over that. I always get sucked back in. Lost World, like, yeah, after turning 25 and like my frontal lobe developed, I went back to like my old videos of like where I did tier lists, and I had Jurassic World over the Lost World, and I cringe at myself. I hate myself. I'm like,
no, that's the right answer, my guy. That's still the right answer. The Lost World is not
Lost World is
not world in any sense.
Like, for me as well, because like Jurassic World marketing is just they just shove Jurassic World and Jurassic Park down your throat, like just those 2 movies. So much, like, Thanksgiving comes around, me staring at my Thanksgiving platter, and it's just the Rex standing there, like, so many of those cringe stuff. But they never showed love to the Lost World or Jurassic Park 3, and I think I like that it's underrated and doesn't get that attention, because you can watch it and just still enjoy it without like thinking of all the social media shit of them shoving it down your throat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thing. I love Jurassic Park 3.
Assis, have you prepared at all, or you've been out in the field, so?
So, believe it or not, I have actually been preparing. So, I have, during my time in the field, completed the first Jurassic Park novel audiobook.
Oh, fuck yeah, man! Nice.
Dude, what a!
Oh, so you never read that before?
Oh, I've read it. I read it religiously before it comes out, before like a movie time. So I feel like it's it's different enough than the movie that it feels like a different experience. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I actually love the novels in a different way than I do the movies. It's
Mm.
quite interesting, but I could talk about that on a different pod. Little retail therapy, a little bit of lab lockdown Rex. Dude, this thing looks good. I'm
Why is
quite
it
impressed.
called that? Why is it called the Lab Lockdown Rex? The Rex
don't
doesn't
know,
go
man.
anywhere near the lab.
Either way, he's a fat boy. I'm looking at him now. He's a bulky guy, and I'm a fan of him. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've started my Jurassic Park not trilogy anymore, saga rewatch, and I'm halfway through Jurassic Park the Uno, and I'm glad that I'm watching it first and not last like you, Alex, because
Mhm.
Jurassic Park, man, it's like you can't. It's like caviar comparing it to like anything else. You can't. It's
Yeah.
the best for a reason, right? It's lightning in a bottle, and you're never going to recapture that, no matter how much you try.
Literally is the best one, and I think the four of us will differ on which one comes next. But regardless, I like that Rebirth is being compared to the first three more
Jack,
so.
what are you doing though?
Oh, nothing. I have not watched anything.
He's watching Camp
Well,
Cretaceous.
he's a busy man. He's a
Season
busy,
4 and 5.
I have been watching Chaos Theory season 1 as well, just in between all that to kill some time.
Fair enough.
Season 1's a good program, man. It's good shit.
It is
Good program.
season 1 and season 1 is like a banger.
Yeah,
Season 3,
100%.
like I
Nice.
like it. It's just that like I don't really talk about it much because
It's bad.
it's just not that. I think it's just that there was no surprises because it's tying in with Dominion. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And next
there's
one we'll
just
be talking with Dominion more, even more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be
yeah.
so weird when Chaos
I
Theory
can't
season
wait.
4 comes out and it's
November.
focused.
I can't wait to see the back of Owen Grady's head. Like I'm just
I was about to
so
say,
ready
do you
for
think we're going to see any main characters like talk for once? Like I was surprised with what's his face, Barry. Barry's kind of a cool addition, but
Barry
like
had a cool part. Yeah,
Hmm?
I
maybe
think
Wanda Weiss.
I think because we're going to the Bison Valley, we'll see events of like, oh, it's the original. It's Grant and Sattler, and I think we'll see them, but I don't think they'll talk.
Yeah,
I
because
think
they
like
released
Brooklyn will be sneaking around or something, and you'll see
like the Fallen Kingdom tie-in
Yeah.
where like they get there just as the guy's getting chomped by the
Yes.
Rex.
Yeah,
Not the Rex, the
for sure.
Mosasaur. Yeah.
You just kind of see it from a different angle. I think we'll see some of that because it's the last series of that show, I think. So they'll go all out. But yeah, I'm not excited. I'm not watching anything ahead of it. I mean, maybe I should watch Jurassic Park, but I don't know.
Watch it on your phone on the train in.
Yeah, yeah.
It's only about 45 minutes, so you'll have to skip through. But
Okay, we'll watch it at like 2 speed.
yeah.
No, but I'm not preparing. I don't feel like I need to, and I also don't feel like this movie's going to answer any questions.
Oh, expert over here.
So no, I mean, I just for Rebirth,
Professor.
it doesn't
Professor.
seem like you need to do any preparation. Like
it does feel like that.
It is just it is what it is kind of thing.
Look at us. You know what? If this movie is like Romulus, I don't think it's going to get the same type of love Romulus did because of how long the time frame, like in real life time, it's been since Alien was Alien.
Yes.
Versus when it was Romulus again, if that makes sense. Like the time frame between, let's say, Rebirth becoming more Jurassic, and then the last Jurassic World or Jurassic hasn't been long enough. I feel like in the modern zeitgeist.
I won't get that benefit of the
doubt.
I feel like the movie won't be loved like Romulus either because Romulus didn't fucking spoil their movie with marketing.
Yeah, Romulus's marketing was solid. I mean, I'm not like I don't run Alien Outpost, so I don't know if there was
well, not yet. We don't.
1,000 TV spots or something, but it just felt like the trailers for Romulus were perfect, and that's all they did. And the movie Romulus had some major issues with its storyline, but it felt like Alien. And it
did something new. But here's the best part about
leading
that.
Up to that movie, I had watched all of the Alien movies, including the ones I hadn't seen. Like I'd never seen Resurrection.
Alien 3.
Before.
Oh.
No, I'd see. Oh, Alien 3 is the best one. But
Jack knows how it feels to be a Jurassic
Romulus
Park
was like,
fan now.
it's nailing everything. The aesthetic is perfect. Production design is just mint. And
it's got that Prometheus tie-in that you want. Like I was a Prometheus fan myself. Me and Caleb, we were very happy with the Prometheus tie-in. It wasn't overt. That's the way you do a Jurassic Park, Jurassic World.
It did. It made sense to have that tie-in, and it made sense. But the whole movie felt like a sequel to the first Alien, which is so effective.
There was
the only
an
thing was
interview.
paper thin characters, like not a lot of build up to their story, but I still liked them. It just
Really, I thought it was incredibly well done.
I liked that it was, standalone enough. Completely new characters, completely new place. The Ian Holm inclusion, I actually really liked that. I thought that was really, really clever, because why would you not reuse that template? It's very, Terminator, if anything. But there was an interview with the director afterwards, because the escape ship that Sigourney Weaver uses in the first film is in the film in the background somewhere. And he kind of got quizzed on that, like, what's the deal there? Why is that there? Was it just, a similar ship or something? And he's like, no, that's the exact pod. We wrote this in so that, like, while they're all running about having their adventure, technically she's been picked up and she's running about the ship having her own adventure. And,
I hate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I hate it too. It sucks so much. I'm glad there's no, like, direct reference to that anywhere in the film, other than just seeing a tiny little ship in the background. But, like, why do you think that's good? That's terrible. Like, it really undermines aliens. Oh, I can't say it, alien connection to aliens.
Right, yeah.
If I say that correctly, it's aliens connection to aliens, which is
for sure. Yeah. But in Romulus is sort of like the third act. I felt like just rushed through
a bit. Yeah,
they created that crazy human,
baby
alien
man,
thing, and then kill it in the next 5 minutes, and it's kind of like it didn't have enough time to.
No, I appreciate them doing something different. You know what I mean? At least if Rebirth was truly like Romulus, it would have been like, oh, cool, the Distortus does have human DNA in it, and oh my god, look at its humanity.
You're never gonna let the human DNA stuff go, are you?
No, never. I won't until I get it. I won't be happy.
Yeah, but the thing is, we said this, like, if they did it now, it would be like, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's
needed it back in 2000.
What works in one space doesn't always work. It can be the exact same idea, but it just might not work. Like, I feel like Jurassic, every time we get away from genuine dinos, people just lose it a little bit. Like, I'm still intrigued to see how the general reaction to the not the Indominus, Jesus, the Distortus is.
Yeah, there was funny how I think Caleb shared the picture of the Distortus Rex in like Walmart or something on a banner. And I was just thinking, anybody that hasn't been paying attention to this franchise is going to see that and be like, what the fuck? Where are they at with this fucking franchise now? Yeah. Like this crazy 4
I mean, especially as if it's got no real acknowledgement as to what the fuck it is in the film. If it just turns up and that's that, people are going to be like, I mean, what was that?
What happened? The only issue with Romulus, which I will say, of course, was the cliche line readings and the
"Get away from her, you." Pause, pause, bitch.
That was a lot of that was just so unnecessary, and
that's just modern Hollywood writing, though. I think
member berries all over again. So it's a shame. I'm hoping Rebirth stays away from that, but yeah, most of the criticism I'm seeing is screenplay for Rebirth, which
was obvious from the start, right? Like David
I think it's had tweaks. Like, I feel like they started probably with not a very different film. Like, structurally, I imagine it was very much the same. But bringing in Gareth, I think he'll have definitely had a stamp on it. When you look at the fact that in the interviews now, they say they started writing this 2022 right around the end of Dominion. But then you look at the drafts list for this film, and I don't think they even had a white until beginning of 24, maybe. I'd have to look it up. So I think it's been through the mill a few times, and sometimes that's okay, but sometimes you end up muddying the water a little too much.
Yeah, from what the original intent was.
Yeah,
let's talk about that title. It was called. David Kett revealed on the red carpet that it was originally called Survival.
Yeah, hot damn.
Segue.
Fuck yeah. I mean, do we prefer that?
I prefer it.
Yeah,
even though it is.
Sounds terrible.
Rebirth is just weird.
I think what would have been great about that is it would have been a signal to the world that this is the JP4 that's been sat on the shelf because that's a title that's been tied to so many things through the years, mostly games. But I feel like it would have been a big beacon to say this is that film. That's what we're making now.
But then they obviously couldn't call it that, and I'm thinking primarily because of the game.
Would it not predate it if they were, working on this around 2022? The game didn't get its announcement till end of 23?
2023 December at the Game Awards. Yeah.
But then I doubt the filmmaking team were working with the video game team. Like, so when the video
But I
game
mean,
got
who's going to win
announced,
that fight? Surely the film.
Yeah, I
but I
would
just
think
don't think they
so.
probably announced the game, and then the filmmakers were like, "Oh, whoa, that's not the name of our movie. What are we doing?" And then that's when they said, "Didn't the name change during filming?"
You said that exactly like I can't think of the guy's name on YouTube who plays like the studio exec and the writer talking to each other.
Oh, yeah, that dude. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, but the name was changed while they were filming. As far
He
as
did say he just said it was the working title, so I get the feeling it's what he just jotted down on paper, and there's every chance that.
but he
just
didn't say it was Park or World, right? So he just
No,
said
he
it
didn't.
was
I
survival. So
bet it
I
was
want
Park. I really think it was Park.
Do
David probably
we?
did write
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Survival as the
Hmm.
working title, but then I don't know. Spielberg's all about world, right?
I don't know. Is he?
I mean,
Probably.
The original title for Jurassic World was just Jurassic Park. It only changed after Colin came on. I don't know if that was his initiative or what, but and I do get why on paper it makes perfect sense. It's just they had such a strong brand. It still remains, in lots of platforms, it still remains the stronger of the two. It's tough to say.
Do you think with that
Survival.
Jurassic Park Survival, like, title change and stuff like that, and with, the stuff that they have announced with Jurassic Park Survival and, how they're writing up fresh ideas and things like that. And I know, Jack, you're not a fan of it, but we have spoken about it that Rebirth will have a tie-in to Jurassic Park Survival, the game, because no retcons in canon. Yeah, do you think that's even more evidence now then? Like that there's going to be a Rebirth tie-in in the game? Or
Can you
am I just
imagine?
reaching with that?
I mean,
I feel like there's gonna be a tie-in in the game.
I've been
Cooking out
joking
fresh
about like
ideas.
you'll play as Dr. Maya Joshi and you'll encounter the D-Rex and the winged Mutadons on Nublar or something. But I can't see them doing that. But the whole Saber survival thing, I'm so confused. Like the last update they released, and it's a lovely picture,
May.
but it's just a picture of the lab. Like it's like a prop. There's no like. It feels like we've gone so many steps back again, and that even that the last update they actually where they were like sat in the offices looking at storyboards and like back. What did they say? Back to the drawing board or something?
No,
Like,
Yeah, they said
no.
cooking out fresh ideas or something like that.
cooking up
Working on
fresh
fresh
ideas. What do you
ideas.
mean? The story should have been
Yeah.
locked like a long time ago at this point.
It's
Like,
so
With
hard to
the
tell.
narrative journal next to it in the photo as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
saying cooking out fresh ideas, so indicates.
I know some people, and Jaden, keep me honest, but I feel like you've always said like, oh, they were X far along when they announced it. But like
Yeah.
when I look back, that was all generated by third party. It's a fantastic teaser, but there was so little gameplay, and the gameplay wasn't particularly Jurassic. The 2 or 3 shots, you could whip that up with stock in an afternoon. I'm like, were they really that far ahead, or did they just have an outline and that was that? But it is bizarre. It is very bizarre.
I'm gonna go into a whole rant about survival, and I'm not trying to be negative about Saber, but I feel like the whole thing with survival getting announced, I think that was Universal shitting the bed with the 30th anniversary, and they wanted to get something out. There's no reason why, like, that's my answer, like, because you can't tell me otherwise. The 30th anniversary was a shit year. They didn't do anything, and they're like, oh shit, let's just do this.
It's tricky because like you're in Australia, buddy, and like it's a little bit of a way away. I think I loved the 30th because like it was just a very Jurassic summer for me. There were, I think, did Jurassic re-release? I feel like it did. I feel like I saw it in
we didn't
theaters
get
again.
that.
We got the tribute
Either in
store
Canada, maybe.
in Orlando that was just incredible. Like it was great to even partner with Universal on that and be able to provide some material because they were open to it and they put in tons of detail. We got loads of new merch. Like we'd never really had InGen merch before, and they did a whole line of that. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, they did all that branding for the 30th, and it was fine. It wasn't anything special. And they did do a series of videos, didn't they? Didn't Ariana Richards and Joe Mazzello do some stuff? And
yeah, they did actually, to be fair. And there was those videos they filmed like at the Orlando park as if they were original training videos for Jurassic Park.
yes, yeah,
Which was
those
fun,
were really they were fun, but like without context, felt really weird, didn't they? Like,
Yes.
what's this for? Why does it exist?
Yeah. Sort of like
But
the classic Universal half-baked ideas, but it was effective. Like it was fun, but yeah.
Yeah, what I will say about Survival as well, because we're at the 29th of June, 28th for you guys, so we don't have that
All right,
much left
future
of
boy.
June. Yeah, we don't have that much left of June, and for the past 3 months, Jurassic Park Survival have been dropping an update since March. Yeah, March, April, May is when they drop their updates. Then no update for Summer Games Fest, or Jurassic June, or the month before the new movie, or the 10th anniversary of Jurassic World. In my opinion, I would have rather them not say anything because we're still in the same position with them not saying anything than what they have said, and just do an update in December for the Game Awards with a release date or something. I'd rather that than not just like, oh yeah, we're still here, guys, and then
We're
not
just going
say
to get a
anything.
tweet that says
Yeah.
"not dead" with a full stop, all
Yeah, like-
lowercase.
Yeah, like
Well,
I don't
just
get
going
it.
back to basics and rewriting the game again.
Yeah,
for the third
and like
time.
I feel bad for Saber because they're copying all of it. Like they've been copying it all last year when they were radio silent, and I don't think it's their fault. But now, obviously, because they're posting all the stuff, like the updates and stuff, and they're not updating anyone for Jurassic June and all that, like I said before, I just feel like it was a waste of time doing those updates. Like just not say anything and just Game Awards release date. That's it. Like do what you were doing before. Be quiet. We already know you're working on the game. Like you haven't canceled it, so we all know that you're working on it. Why tell us that you're working on it?
The
I
thing
don't
is
know.
with Saber,
It's just
like
me.
I like them as a company. They seem like great game developers, and some of the games I played of those are great. But it's just like every week I see a new game with Saber's name on it announced. Like there was one yesterday that was like bus simulator or something. I was like, Saber Games are doing a bus simulation game. I'm like, where's Jurassic? Like where's this fucking major AAA title that they were supposed to be doing? It just feels weird that they're just very quiet about it. I don't know. But then maybe that came from the studio being like, this is the era of survival now, so you need to take a back seat.
Yeah.
Not survival, rebirth. This is the year of rebirth now, so survival needs to wait.
Which I'm happy with. Like I'm happy for the game to come out next year. Like that's all I want. That's what I really wanted.
Do we?
But,
I mean,
I just don't get the updates.
do we think would it have done well alongside the film? Because my personal go-to is like if it had released 2 weeks after the film's release, that would have been fantastic timing. Like
If the movie's good, yes.
yeah. But I feel like there's enough in the keeps saying like, oh, the film is about survival. That's what it turns into, and I feel like you could easily market them side by side, based on tone more than anything else.
Yeah.
I think in an ideal world, if we kind of knew that Jurassic Park Survival was in a ready state, then yeah, I wouldn't mind it coming alongside with the movie. But because of what we know with Survival and that if it did come out with the movie, we would know it's rushed and it's probably not going to do well. You know what I mean? So that's what I'd say about it. But yeah, I'd be more than happy for it to come out alongside with the movie. But because
I played Lego Jurassic World, the same month that Jurassic World came out, and I loved it. It was a Jurassic summer for me. Even though Jack will massively disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I did play. To be fair, I did play that game. I played the Jurassic Park, Lost World, and JP3 levels, and then just stopped
and gave up.
I didn't play anything else. But I didn't want a fucking Lego game, man. Like, I wanted survival, and now we got. When was it? 2022 that it was announced. December?
23, end of 23,
December.
End of 23. Okay, fair enough. It's not that long ago, really. But then, I think it's just weird because going back to that picture they posted where they were like in an office concepting ideas, I'm just like, what is happening to this game?
It has been in development since 2022 though. I'm pretty sure it says that on their Steam page, but I know that's it's been in development since 2022, but it got announced December.
It's hard to know when we're told stuff, it's hard to know what's marketing and what's genuine. Like Derek made a really good point that nowhere on any of the information about Rebirth does it mention all that stuff with David Leitch, where they really, really wanted him to make the film, and he was like, "I don't want to fucking do it." Like, no.
Yeah. That I mean, I get that in that leaked PR document why they wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's their narrative for sure. That's not a criticism.
But one of the perks of that leaked document, Assis, have you seen that document? It's like
luckily no.
It's like a PR document that was released that kind of tells you a lot about Rebirth. A lot of
but you had said in the last pod that some of it might be not quite accurate anymore.
Well, it's just that some of the, I mean, I don't know about that, but some of the cool things that were in it were like the Velociraptors were based on the Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptors, and they also said a line about how they wanted the film to feel like a sequel to the original trilogy. And in those respects, I've heard a lot of people say it does. It feels like it lines up alongside that. I think Josh said
That name it Jurassic Park, goddammit.
Lost World cross JP3 is what Rebirth feels like.
I think that JP3 component is more just because it's a very self-contained film, like JP3. It doesn't push the narrative of the world forward. I mean, the setup obviously does to a degree, but that's not even critical. There wasn't any need to say the dinosaurs are all dying. I feel like they've literally done that to just make it clear they had to go to this one place. Like they've just tried to funnel it a little bit. It didn't really need to be a case. I've said all along, like, I'd have loved for so the name of the drug that they're making is out in the open now. It's not a spoiler or anything, but it's called
What is it?
paleodioxys.
Oh, I hate it. Thank you.
Yeah, but the only thing I did think about that is dioxys. Like, if you were going to abbreviate that, surely you'd abbreviate it to DX, paleo DX.
Yeah,
They won't do DX because of the pandemic, I reckon.
Yeah, but again, no, you're right. I think the pandemic may well be had an effect. Focus groups be like, oh no, we don't want to see anything. But if there'd have been a lot more urgency, if there was, illness in the world, a dino-driven, plague of some kind, and like they needed to get original InGen specimens, not animals that have been living across the globe, bred by whoever knows, or naturally conceived or hatched or whatever. They needed, ground zero specimens.
Yes.
And then like someone's like, oh well, conveniently, we have this like black site where we just kind of dumped everything. It just feels like there were a lot more natural ways to weave and to set a new stage and to weave this narrative. And instead we've got, well, most of the dinos have died. Sucks for them.
Smoothie is dead.
I do kind of like that because I don't, I'll say it again, I'm not happy with any of the world movies and where they ended up. So saying that most of those dinosaurs are dead,
again, it's too soon. Like, it's literally like only really just set the stage for dinos on a global stage, and it's immediately
Blue and Beta are dead.
That's the first line of the text in Rebirth. It's like, somehow Blue died. Full stop.
You got hit by another truck.
Not even going to bother showing it. We don't care. I think it's the whole, we speculated before we knew anything about Rebirth, but we knew it was coming. We speculated a lot about what it could be. And remember those hazmat suits in New York City? I still don't know the context. I think I read it, so I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to keep some stuff for the cinema. But regardless, like, that made me think there's a disease that's dinosaur born. It's affecting humans. So the whole story is now this race against time. But it seems like that isn't the case.
No. And you're right. It might be the pandemic. I think they took a look at that as a storyline and were like, it's Planet of the Apes. We can't do it. They did it first. So it's just not going to work. And it's such a shame because it would have been a good narrative for Jurassic.
Good narrative, race against time. Everybody can relate to it because we did live through that pandemic.
Yeah.
And also
its consequences again. And
but it also harkens back to DX, which is what the fans of all, that's what everybody's JP4 story always was about, like extinction, breakout, like DX virus on the mainland, Malcolm's bloody nose at the end of the Lost World novel, and you know what I mean? Like, and seeing those hazmat suits and them spraying disinfectant in a city, you start to get the impression like, oh, this, maybe the world is like, people are dying at like a rapid rate and they need to get original specimens, but that's not the case at all.
No.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see. I feel like I still don't know a fair amount about the movie, but I've seen a lot of it.
I feel like you're going to come out feeling exactly the same. All these expectations, and this is what I think everyone's talking about. It's like, that didn't amount to anything, and it's a real shame because I don't really feel, having gone through hours of production notes that Kep and Spielberg had from JP and The Lost World. They went into that level of detail. They had these conversations, so they would have had them on this film. And then it feels like it's just slowly been stripped away as the film was kind of developed. And it's just such a shame because it needs that level of context.
I don't think Steven cares anymore about the franchise like he used to.
No, he does. No, he definitely
does. No, he's pushed this film forward. I mean, it feels like he took a look at the end of Dominion and was like, "Oh,
exactly, it's cash money, baby."
Studio pushed the film forward too. They probably didn't want the franchise to die after Dominion, so they were like, "You need another movie." And Spielberg's like, "Yeah, well, I was
I could
working
make
with
another
Kep on one.
billion.
Yeah, they
This movie has to like not make money and then also do critically poor for Universal to be like, you know what, maybe we should rethink our strategy.
What do you think the box office is going to do? Because you made a point earlier about how
Yes.
these $5 screenings are. How's that really going to help? Because
So I don't know about the
a lot of the
$5
people that
screenings.
aren't fans
Mm.
paid $5 and they saw the movie. They're not going to go pay 20, $25 up to go see it again. Whereas Jurassic fans will, but you know what I mean? Like a lot of people have already seen
So
it at the screen unseen.
right now,
Screen
Jurassic
unseen.
World is tracking the new one's tracking for a 100 to 120 million 3-day, like the weekend opening, which is
Is that
Jurassic, for example, following Dominion during COVID made 145 million.
oof.
Yeah, the 4-day is looking at a tops of 130 million, and the 5-day, since it releases on a Wednesday with the long weekend in the States, I guess, 130 to 150 million. And
Is that just
reminder,
US or
Dominion
globally?
during, say again, sorry,
Is
that's
that
in
just
domestically.
okay? Because I don't think that's as big a component. Jurassic films always perform better internationally than they do in the US. I
True,
think.
Mm.
true.
I,
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm looking at even like compared to what Dominion made during COVID
tail
and
end
what
of COVID, end of
still, though,
COVID.
it
I
still
mean, if
matters.
anything, I would say that's people going out a lot more. You know, we were all going to
Yeah,
restaurants and films because we had, we've been locked indoors for.
for two
Exactly. So
years.
Dominion's even looking less healthy already off the gates, if that makes sense. So I don't think a billion is in the lock anymore because like
I could
between
see it
Jurassic
falling
World,
short. Like
yeah,
I could see it settling
800.
somewhere around 700-800, and it'd be a pity because it would bring the average under a bill, and that's a nice number. It is a nice number.
It's a
Like
nice
we
number, but
shouldn't care about
Universal, the
money, but
only way that Universal is going to learn and make any adjustments to the current strategy is if the movie underperforms in multiple ways.
I think we'll make a
Unfortunate as
billion.
it may sound, but that's the only way we can get like a fucking $100 million Jurassic movie with like one character surviving until the end and not like 35.
Yeah, seriously, I do feel like we're well at some point we're overdue the kind of darker, grittier novel
yeah,
epic story.
yeah.
But Rebirth was kind of hoping to get us back in that direction, but I'm not. I'm kind of hearing that it's comic. I was worried when Kep said, humor is oxygen, because I get what he meant. The first two movies have a lot of humor, but it's so embedded well within the darker tones of the movie that it is the comic relief you need and you would have in a situation like that. Whereas I'm hearing it's not quite the same here. It is just kind of like, haha,
Have
funny
any
shit.
of you watched? Is anyone watching any of the clips that have been released? There've been 4 now in total.
I tried.
No.
I've seen one.
I've seen the one in
I
the
haven't
field.
seen anything.
Okay, is Aziz and Jaden, like, just take your headphones off for 3 minutes? The one in the field with Jonathan Bailey like eating a cracker or something, that
Makes
kind
like
of got me a little bit. I was like, oh, that's not really that funny. Like, why would he do that when he's just made a comment about carnivores?
Yes.
Why is he immediately eating food that would attract them? Like, surely he knows better than that. And
I also did not like ScarJo's reaction to seeing the dinosaur. It just came off phony. But I don't know. Like, I'm not watching the movie. I'm watching.
We're missing a lot of context. Yeah.
She just, I don't know. I didn't buy her. Like, oh, wow.
Well, it's like they're making a big thing out of Jonathan Bailey's reaction to the Titanosaur. We've seen this. There's a lovely featurette about him playing in the orchestra, and it's like, oh, it's his reaction to seeing and touching a dinosaur for the first time. And the context they're giving is that even though he's in New York, which has had dinos since 2020, whenever, 2, it's like, oh, he's never seen them in their habitat. And I'm like, well, it's still not their habitat. This is just another InGen island. Like, it's not their prehistoric domain. It's weak source. It's weak source. Like, everybody, I get they're still doing that. Everybody has seen a dinosaur now. No one cares anymore. But I just don't agree with that either as a plot device, because like we as an audience still give a shit. So like, don't try and force us to have a point of view contrary to ours in that sense, because we're just not going to buy into it.
Yeah, it didn't. Colin always said that about the World era, and like the World movie was like, people are sick, they're always on their phones. But in that scene where the T-Rex is in the first movie and they see it in that whatever, like the Lost World kind of environment, the only person on their phone is Nick Robinson's character. You know, like everybody's super pumped to see
taking
that
pictures
dino.
of it. Yeah,
And I'm just like, I don't know what he was talking about, because it seems like this park is thriving. Really, it's full, and they're talking about, oh, we need a new dinosaur because attendance is low. And it's like, this park is rammed to the fucking brim full of people. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And it's pristine. It's new. I always thought when we saw Jurassic World, it would be great if the park was literally like decaying, and you know, like you could tell it was maybe underfunded and things weren't going quite right.
Yeah.
It was dirty in parts, and it was like they've had some incidents, so that section's closed off. And you know what I mean? Like, give it a real sense that people are tired of this park, and it's also maybe not being run very well.
It's tough because, again, I feel like it would just be such a jump from, as an audience, we hadn't seen a real functional open park. So
we didn't want to. Nobody wanted that.
I'd have been.
A lot of the common audiences always said, "Oh, finally a functioning park." I'm like, as a hardcore fan, I was like, I would never wanted to see the function. The entire point was to not have a functioning park.
Yeah, I never ever wanted. I never dreamt of having like, oh, they should open a new park. That would be a great movie. No, it wouldn't, and it wasn't. It shouldn't. It didn't. It was not necessary at all. Which is why it just like the World trilogy to me does feel like. I haven't seen Rebirth yet, but I was always hoping.
You haven't? Everybody else has.
Yeah, everyone else has.
I was always hoping that it would make the World era feel like, oh, you don't need to see those ones.
It honestly does feel like a big step away. Like, I don't see anything that feels like it really connects to them at all.
Except for all the dinosaurs in the world are now dying out, which you can't get away from without seeing the World movies, unless you fill in the gaps yourself and say, well, those pteranodons fly off the island in JP3.
Maybe they picked up a few other dinos on the way and flew them across the Pacific.
Yeah. Maybe there have been migration in Costa Rica, then dinosaurs have basically spread over the world, and now they're all dying in 20 years later. Okay, great. But I kind of still hope I can watch Rebirth and the World movies don't exist. That would be nice, because I really.
Well, to be fair, my dad's gonna watch the new movie, and he hasn't seen 4, 5, or 6. So.
Oh, great!
There you go.
Oh wow!
I'm
what
like,
an amazing mindset he's going into. Like, that's such an interesting mindset to go into a movie like that. He hasn't watched the other 3.
Oh well, he's like, fucking. You know, he's like a almost 7-year-old man.
He's 7.
17. Almost.
No, you guys all heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard 7. I did hear 7.
Wow.
He's almost a 7-year-old man.
I've got that Benjamin Button disease.
Yeah. So listen, we talk box office. We don't think, Alex, where do you land on? Like, do you think
I honestly couldn't call it, because I feel like every film I'm like, oh, I really don't want to care about numbers, but you know, this is my franchise. Like, I want more, and unfortunately, to get more, it has to be viable at the box office. So I could see it doing 800 mil,
and they won't be happy with that, I don't think.
Well, it costs less to make, so profit wise it'll probody end up being better.
It was
than
still
Dominion.
180, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's still
it's a little tough to
500-600.
The numbers that were reported for Dominion and Fallen Kingdom are a bit squiffy, because sometimes it was reported with the marketing costs. Typically, we don't talk about that when it comes to film production. So some people are like, oh yeah, for some reason Dominion cost like 345 mil, and I'm like, production wise, it didn't. That's an unfair assessment.
COVID and marketing.
Sorry, Dominion. I meant Fallen Kingdom.
FK. Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, obviously Dominion, I think they had to lump on like another 10 million or 100 million or something it must have been 10 for COVID precaution or something ridiculous. Not that it was ridiculous, it was obviously very warranted.
It was a lot of money though.
It was.
And then obviously the marketing had to go to. There was a lot of money spent on marketing for that film. I think.
And no Jake Johnson.
Knew it was going to fail. Let's talk about the Rotten Tomatoes thing. So just before we jumped on the podcast, Alex, you pulled up Dominion's Rotten Tomatoes score, and it was what, 20?
It's 29. Yeah. So let's, in order.
It's higher than I thought it was.
In order, Jurassic Park was 91. The Lost World was 52. Jurassic Park 3 was 49. And then Jurassic World turned it around a bit with a 72. And then Fallen Kingdom was 47, so just below JP3. And then Dominion coming in with its 29, which I can entirely understand now. Like, at the time, I'd have been like, oh, no, that's just a bit harsh. But no, there is some like genuine bad filmmaking in there. There's bad editing. There's bad
staging, bad direction.
Yeah, exactly. The way people move around, it's just like,
but Fallen Kingdom Fallen Kingdom deserves a lower rating, and then obviously I would say The Lost World is. I think most people have come around to the fact that The Lost World was unfairly critiqued at the time, and those ratings have remained
Wow.
with the movie.
There's a lot of nonsense going on right now.
Yeah,
No, but it's true, man.
He
There's
says
people
that in
come
the
out,
presence
major
of Jurassic
critics come
Park
out
3.
now and say like they've watched Lost World again, and they're
was
like,
a big,
actually, it really isn't
big
that bad.
shift.
It's pretty fucking good.
It was a big
Lost
shift
World
from Jurassic
sucks,
Park,
guys.
and that shocks people, and then they just have a knee-jerk reaction to, well, this isn't what I always have it with TV, especially when you get a season of something and you love it, and then you feel like the end of that season, Westworld was a good example, it sets up a bit, you think you know what's coming next, and then the next season, when it's something radically different to everything you expected, and it goes in a direction that you didn't expect and maybe don't want, you have a knee-jerk reaction like, well, it's trash, I don't like it. And then often, in retrospect, you go back and you're like, okay, no, this on its own merits, this is great, actually. It's just that in the moment, it's sequel syndrome, that like sometimes when you don't deliver what people are expecting, they just immediately dismiss it.
Yeah, and I think with Jurassic, it was like, it's a perfect movie. It doesn't really feel like it needed a sequel, but they obviously were going to do one, and then Michael Crichton wrote the novel. I definitely think, I mean, I can't really understand what people would dislike about it. I know people do dislike it, but I still feel like it's the most solid case. It's a Spielberg movie, and it's the most solid case of a sequel for Jurassic. It's like the most solid sequel to a
Bad characters.
Who's bad in it though?
Nick Van Owen, Sarah Harding.
There are that's not bad characters. It's slightly messy scripting in that, like, I know what you mean, where you can pick apart on a very like molecular level. You're like, oh, everything's Nick's fault because A, B, C, and D, and I'm like, okay, I can see how you could like make that a case for that, but that's not the intention. It's just a subtract of the plot, unfortunately. Like,
Sarah
that's
Harding
not the story they were trying to tell.
Textbook. She is not a good character. She's just exposition and science background. She's not a good character.
I disagree. But I think we'll always disagree on that because you're not a fan of Lost World, which is fine. I just think it is literally the
bad
best
action
since the first, and it works so much as a sequel because
you can turn the movie off as soon as it hits San Diego.
I like San Diego.
I like the San
Diego. I turn it off. I'm done with it.
It was something
never
new.
Yeah, no, I can't. Like, that's probably my only.
Was it in the trailer? Like, did people
was-
go
I
into the
wasn't
film
alive.
not knowing that was going to happen?
No, people knew San Diego was going to happen.
Definitely. Shots of them in like the car and the big bull.
Oh, that's a shame. That's where
86,
they shouldn't have shown any
72.
of that. The last 30 minutes of the film should not have been in the trailer.
Yeah.
But you don't even follow the Rex like doing anything cool. He eats a dog and he maybe eats a family.
And David Kep. He eats David Kep.
Yeah.
Smashes up the bus, man. That's a great scene.
The best part of that scene is Manuel made it cooler.
What?
Oh yeah, with the behind.
Oh, with the bringing it back. He does a great job at doing things that feel of the period that they're imitating, which is a hard thing to do. Like the number of things we see where it's like, I can tell that was shot to. Romulus did a really good job of emulating a style from the 80s. You know, it almost all feels like that film could have been made. And even the stuff at the beginning on the planet, I was like, this feels fucking great. Yeah. You could tell me that was made in the 80s and I would believe you. And often it works well when you use a cast of people that nobody's going to fucking recognize. It's a really good trick.
Great cast.
Yeah.
For sure.
Jurassic has to do that, man. No more A-listers. It has to go back to like it has to do like a 90s thing, like a 90s vibe.
Like and also, like, can we start equipment? Can we do a bit more authentic casting? And this is not a criticism of this cast because I think they're all phenomenal actors in their own way. But like, we've got two Brits both playing Americans, like, and they also didn't need to be Americans. They could have both been Rupert Friend and John Bailey. Yeah, they're both doing American accents, and it's like, if we'd had them playing a different ethnicity, there would have been uproar about it or something, you know. So like, I don't see any reason that Jonathan Bailey couldn't have been a Brit paleontologist from the British.
Well, it could have been Dev Patel, remember? Back in the day, back in the rumors.
Dev Patel was on that list. Yeah, holy shit.
Dev Patel would have been great.
That would have been role, don't get me started, but Jonathan Bailey's pretty fucking... He's so far what I've seen from him, good to go.
Everybody says he's one of the major features of this movie. Like his performance is 10 out of 10 kind of thing.
I've heard that about him, about David Iacono.
David Iacono.
David Iacono I've heard a couple times too. From Ryan too.
I've heard there's some in there as well. Some references.
Really?
Well, we knew there was a
hell
drug
yeah.
reference, didn't we? From the little box, the little
Okay, here we go. We're
PG-13.
smoking weed in this movie. Here we go. Let's go, boys.
But Assis, you're absolutely wrong about the Lost World. But no, for real, I do.
Okay.
I think at the back to that original point. I think at the time it was unfairly critiqued, and I've seen a lot of re-reviews of movie critics saying like, you know what, it's actually probably the best one since the original, especially after the World era. We've had this JP3 resurgence, but I mean, I think the rating on JP3 is probably fair.
It's a 6. I love it, but I think it's a 6 out of 10 movie because it doesn't push the world. It doesn't push anything along. It is.
It does push the world along. It does. It always did. It always did.
In what way is
Thank
this?
you. Jaden's nodding his head. Literally,
Yep.
in one of the opening scenes, it's like, hey, remember like the fucking scene where Dr. Grant's in front of the podium and stuff? The audience.
Okay, no, I'll give you that. But then,
literally, there's a security company is like, yeah, we can take care of dinosaurs now, and like they can't. And then there's literally
up
a parasailing company.
But we
wasn't
And
on
then,
InGen's list.
if you want to add that nonsense, you can add that too.
that was a very
that's
tiny
well-building.
glimpse. It's a very tiny glimpse at the fact that the world is ready for these dinosaurs now, and then we don't do anything with it. And like Jurassic World takes a massive jump.
Jurassic World 4 Jurassic Park 4 should have been done by Joe Johnson.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. They were.
It had to have been.
The thing is, right? We know that some of the JP3 thrown out stuff was going to end up making it into JP4, and after JP3, they would have had the Pteranodon set up. And
Dude, Joe Johnson's not a bad filmmaker. That's like the thing people are forgetting.
If
he's
you
actually
think he
like,
is, go watch October Sky.
great.
You know, go watch some of his original stuff, and then just like,
the Doggo's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a shame the way it worked out. I think
We got screwed.
We all wanted JP4 the way it was supposed to be. Even when there were rumors of Spielberg coming back to direct, you know, and all that, everybody was like, fuck yeah, this franchise can get back on track. And then 15 years later, we had a new park. This was not the cool.
Jack, we gotta get into the freaking filmmaking business already and fucking make the proper Jurassic Park 4.
Make the JP4. We'll just use AI.
John Sayles, bring him back. Consulting.
Hey, what about Rotten Tomato score for Rebirth? Where do we think that's going to end up lying?
I could see it
40
being
to 50.
No, I could see it being like 70 around Jurassic World.
You think so?
I'd say,
I would
I
say
could see it.
I'd say 60,
60 to 70 would be great news.
A high 60.
And I think the movie will make $1 billion, in my opinion.
Wow.
I think the Chinese market will push it to $1 billion. It always does with Jurassic. It's always the Chinese market that pushes it to
Chinese
make that
will
billion.
only give you maybe 100 to 120 million.
You reckon? I don't know, man. IMAX as well.
Maybe being the 4th of July weekend as well in the US, that might do something interesting.
And school holidays here in Australia as well when it drops, like this week coming of its release.
All our schools are wrapping
Jurassic's
up.
only got about a week to like really make its big boy money, because next week is like, I think, Superman or Fantastic Four.
Oh, that was another reason people thought maybe Universal panicked and did stuff is because of the Superman. Which, by the way, sorry, like I know people like that.
I'm not gonna watch these movies, man.
That looks fucking garbage, man. I don't understand.
Superman, 100%.
It feels trash. Very to make it work. It feels very kitchen sink, where they've made it bright and colorful, and they're like, we're going to put so many characters in this because they know the diehard comic fans just really get off on just having their favorite character in a movie.
But you and I are not going to watch it though.
I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. No,
I haven't paid.
I'll never watch it. I promise you.
Fucking.
I don't like DC.
I did pay for Captain Marvel.
Spider-Man.
I did go see Captain Marvel.
That's a really rogue Marvel film to go see. Like out of all of them, that's an interesting choice.
Captain Marvel's where I would spend my money.
It was a date, but
good man.
With you,
I hope it worked out.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
I didn't actually mind that movie, but I'm just like I had superhero fatigue at the end of Captain America 1. You know, like I was done with
the last good movie. Some would say Joe Johnson.
No,
Joe fucking Johnson. Yeah,
it's a great. It's my favorite Captain America movie.
It's a good movie.
Oh, what? Over Winter Soldier.
Yeah, why not?
Nah,
It's so
Aziz, you're
campy.
wrong. Your opinions are too rogue.
Which one is?
Oh my
the
God.
The seventh one. That's what I mean. Like, they're just.
It was the second Captain America film, but it was something like the 9th or 10th, maybe overall Marvel
Winter Soldier is
film.
great, but like the campiness of
it
Joe
did
Johnston's
it
movie
did a
is
true
fantastic.
theatrical plot twist that nobody saw coming, hadn't been leaked. They did a genuinely good job with it.
Yeah, the Shield Hydra thing. Yeah,
and it actually, at the time, at least now it's like, oh, that didn't really matter, but at the time it felt like it was a big shift in like the world building narrative. And again, there's great stunt work in the film, and the score by Henry Jackman is really good and very different, very, very
no
different.
wonder you hate Jurassic Park 3. You're so against this man. Leave him alone.
I'm not. I really loved First Avenger when it came out. I love the score by Alan Silvestri. I love the kind of the World War II color, and it's really great. It does lose its way a bit in the middle, where it just goes full montage, where it's like just like fuck it, I can't be bothered to make full scenes. We're just
They
going to
ran
show
out of money,
little,
my friend.
yeah. But no, I really like First Avenger a lot.
What a hater! Absolute hater.
What's the other movie that's coming out? Fantastic
Four.
I've got a feeling.
Alex.
I haven't seen
That'll do
the
well.
trailer, but
I don't know if it's going to do well. It's short. It's less than 2 hours, and that kind of, for a Marvel film, usually it shows off that things have gone badly because they tend to write them and design them to be about 130 minutes. If they've had to leave so much material on the cutting room floor, it's not because they wanted to make the movie better. It's because it just doesn't work.
Oh.
Really, you think so?
Look at Brave New World. That they cut that down massively.
That was a great movie, though.
No, it wasn't. It sucked. It was so boring.
That's the last Marvel movie I watched. That's great.
It was the last Captain America film with Sam Wilson taking over.
Oh, sorry. I thought about the Spider-Man movie. Never mind. That's the last one I watched.
No Way Home was great. No Way Home.
Oh, No Way Home. Yeah. Sorry, that's the one with the three dudes. Great movie.
Three Spider-Man.
That was any of those movies.
I actually the new Spider-Man films, that they're a little synthetic, but I think it did something new, and I really enjoy them.
It was fresh, for me at least.
And each one is so different. Like you've got your first one that's
Marvel.
Andrew Garfield. Well, it's not cliche though. It's not
VFX. Just VFX.
It is. No, you are right.
Tom Holland fatigue came long ago, man.
But then you have Andrew Garfield and Toby.
The only
Andrew Garfield's my favorite Spider-Man.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat those original Spider-Man movies.
But you can. They all suck.
Yeah,
all 1, 2, and 3.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
They were great. They were.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man's were garbo.
Yeah, I'm with Aziz on this. JP3
Andrew Garfield was a great Spider-Man.
Wait, now that we're talking about Thomas Holland, what are our thoughts about Tom Holland being 007?
Oh, I think
too young.
Just rumor. I don't think that will happen. He
wouldn't. Denis Villeneuve, though. Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's great. Canada,
it's great,
man.
but it's weird.
It feels after having Carrie Joy fucker something or other, the last director, I can understand why they've gone that route. It feels a very similar.
Yeah, but apparently Amazon were really shocked and surprised that even came about. They weren't even they were like, "What the fuck? We got
Denis
Villeneuve."
Villeneuve.
Just a strange, not what I expected. I mean, I thought Bond was kind of done, but that does bring me.
It's
back
like
in.
if somebody said Nolan was going to do Batman now, you'd be like, oh, what, really? But he did it almost first.
Yeah, valid.
Dennis Villeneuve.
The best film he's ever made is Enemy. I'll stack by that.
No.
Enemy's
okay.
10 out of 10. Also,
filmed in Montreal,
man. Filmed in Montreal.
I get it, but Sicario.
Yeah, Sicario is like prime filmmaking.
Sicario is disgusting. It's pretty gross.
That's a 10 out of 10 movie. But that's the thing, right? People are like, well, Rebirth, comparing it to Fantastic Four and whatever
you can't. Whatever. You just can't.
I'm like, it's not. I feel I don't want the franchise to be one of those, but it is now. It is a kind of superhero franchise. It is that kind of like, which one's coming out this year? Like, I miss when they felt a bit more grounded, and maybe Rebirth does take us there, but I don't fucking know. I think with Rotten Tomatoes, it's going to land like 70-75% because people love ScarJo, people love Jonathan Bailey. Half that rating is going to be like every fucking, like The Lost World being 50% is insane. So, I think the Rebirth rate, it's hard to get a real sense of what it's going to be. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Assis, are you seeing it July 2nd?
I will be seeing it July 2nd. I got tickets to D Box.
That's the cinema where the dicks come out, isn't it?
Yeah.
What?
Trust
There's
me,
so
I've
many different
I've seen enough of that.
real 3D, and all this shit, and like Screen X, Screen D Box.
So
Yeah,
here's a question for anyone:
D Box AVX.
how the fuck does Screen X work? Where does all that extra picture come from? I've never understood it because they're not shooting. It's the wider where you've got like another 2 panels either side, and you're seeing the film in super wide. And I assume they're not just cropping the top and bottom. They actually, like from the trailers, it looks like there's more image.
Probably a stretched image, no?
We know they're not making more image because that would be like, how would you even do that? They didn't record. Is it?
Maybe the movie's just like stretched across the 3 screens. Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't understand how it works.
No,
apparently this movie is also in 3D. I didn't know that until I was looking at tickets. I'm like, oh,
post conversion. Yeah, post conversion.
I was like, I was gonna get 40x, obviously, because why not? Let's spend all the money.
I saw Jurassic Park in 4DX, and whilst the whole film doesn't need to be in 4DX, like the sequences, the helicopter arriving at the island works really well with the music, and you're just sort of gently swaying. I had a real moment there.
Well, that's what D-Box is. Like Dominion, when I watched Dominion in D-Box or 4DX, it had fake snow playing in my theater. It was wild.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, Dominion 4D was sick.
4DX.
4DX is like this, the moving chair with some effects. Like sometimes there'll be flashes, there'll be maybe water.
They'll blow water at you sometimes.
Yeah, like spraying water.
The earliest kind of interaction I had with that was the 3D re-release of Titanic in, I think, 2013 maybe.
You're just getting slowly through the movie.
What it wasn't 4DX. It was just the 3D.
Yeah, it's up to his chest by the end. It's like, well, fucking bless.
Okay, it wasn't 4DX. It was just a normal 3D showing. But we're at the end of the film. There's this beautiful shot. This lifeboat basically fills the screen, and the camera's right on the horizon. So you've got this infinite plane of glassy water. Beautiful shot. And the aircon in the cinema came on, and I got such a chill. I felt like I was in the freezing Atlantic with them. Like it was a beautiful moment.
There it is, 40x, baby. That's why you spend $30 Canadian.
Wait. Is 40x 3D?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes
it is. Sometimes it is in this situation.
Do you have 40x in the UK?
Yeah, well, I've got one literally next door to me.
There you go.
Rebirth might be fun the second time in 40x, but is it
I'm doing 3D, that
40x? Like
no, so it is 40x is 3D, but D-Box is regular. D-Box has all like it throws you around in the chair.
Oh, okay. Is D-Box in the UK then? Because I don't want to see it in 3D.
I don't think D-Box is. I think we just have forward. I don't know. I don't know enough.
So if we want to watch it with all the features and the air blowing at us, we have to see it in 3D.
Maybe.
Yes.
Over here in Australia,
you can just get a pair of glasses that have the same lens both sides, and you'll just get it in 2D.
But
it's a darker image.
I don't want to wear glasses in the cinema. I hate that.
All right, I'll make you some contact lenses.
I have to wear glasses anyways. I have to wear my normal eyeglasses. So I'm like, well, fuck. I want to get thrown around in my chair.
Yeah.
So like, 40x. I mean, what's it called? Fucking D-Box. Dude, it's like $30 a ticket in Canada. I don't know how it is.
That's not bad, buddy. We've paid $27 a piece for just standard Dolby 2D.
Oh my god. That's like $1,000 Canadian.
Oh no, I tell a lie. We're in reclining seats so that Jack and I can play footsie while we watch the film.
Is it reclining?
It is reclining. Yeah.
Okay, great. I saw 20 years later with reclining. Have any of you guys seen that yet?
No,
I've seen the.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's big. He's an alpha, that's for sure.
He sees some action.
It's good movie.
Yes.
I would recommend watching it. I need to see it again.
I had the choice. I had the choice of that or F1 tomorrow, and I chose F1 because I promised a friend I would see it. It's Joe Kosinski who did Tron Legacy, which is great, and Top Gun Maverick, which is great. But
28 years later, bro.
Yeah, you're missing out on a lot.
I want to. Do we see some zombie dick in this film? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's
a big dick.
That's a choice. That's a choice right there.
Dick. It's a I really need to see the movie again. I think it will resonate more with British people who grew up with British culture, because there's a lot of like callbacks and things. Because obviously the original 28 Days Later was
Oh,
2002, right?
you know,
So
If you love 28 Days Later to like a passionate level, would you love the new movie?
I don't. I think it's so different.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
that's tough
it's
to
not
hear.
what I was expecting, which is why I need to watch it again. I think
Mm.
So
because
you don't like it then?
oh, okay, right, okay, great film, but some of it didn't quite land for me, but I still really enjoyed it.
Fuck. It is Danny Boyle directing, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Alex Garland
And Alex
writing.
Garland. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's just they just make some interesting calls, and I think I was talking to Thomas Jurassic about it, and there's just some the movie sort of like switches up halfway through, and it does work, but then also on the flip side, you're like feel like I missed out on the rest of the previous story. But I'm not going to say any more because you haven't seen it.
Well,
Worth watching.
fuck. Well, I'm not gonna ask you about
So in
killing.
this film, in 28 Days Later, when do they get? Oh no, you know, like that guy who reviews films as a fan of, or as a fan of Jurassic Park, reviewing other films, and he's like, and then 45 minutes in, they still haven't got to the island. What the fuck? I was about to do that bit, and then realized there is an island in the film, isn't there? So that doesn't hold up.
Yeah, it's sort of set on a real life.
Is
location.
Aaron Taylor Johnson good in the movie?
Yeah, he's fantastic. Really good.
Oh, thank God.
He was
Okay.
good in Bullet Train. He was really good in Bullet Train.
Well, he plays like such a weird. No,
He was good in
I don't want to
Kick-Ass.
say archetype, but like he's such a like a unique presence.
Mm.
Like he's movie star, I guess, but like he's not like he's not
Yeah,
intimidating in that sense. You know what I mean?
He's a
Yeah.
strange one, but
Yeah.
he's very effective in this role, and that's partly why
Blessed.
I need to see it again, because I'm like not it, I won't spoil anything, but his storyline doesn't get wrapped up by any means, and you're like, oh, I kind of
but
want it.
it's part of a new sequel plan, isn't it? Isn't someone else
Yeah.
doing the next film that's called like
Already wrapped, yeah.
28
Nina, the
28
lady who
weeks
did
boning me or something?
yeah, the lady that directed Candyman reboot is directing.
Oh.
Has already directed the new one, which doesn't give me much hope. But
The Bones movie.
I didn't like the new Candyman.
Really, I liked it.
Yeah, okay, fair. But she's worked obviously really closely with Alex Garland and Danny Boyle. They filmed pretty much back to back, so it's like it's shot, it's in the can. They're editing now. It's out next year. Down for that. I think it's such a dumb way to make movies. Really, honestly, like it's so modern Hollywood. Like let's make
It's not
three at
Danny
once.
Boyle.
It didn't work for Star Wars.
No, I'm a bit worried about it, but also like I can't. It does feel like God, I need the new one now. I need the next one now because the story is by no means wrapped up, and it just makes me wonder what the hell they're going to do for the third one, because they haven't filmed that. They haven't got the permission to film that one yet. They haven't got the green light or anything. Yeah, are they just going to keep growing?
What is
That
this?
wasn't a dick.
We'll see, but that's probably a good place to wrap up. Go see 28 Years Later if you're looking forward to something.
If you're in the US, there are screenings of Rebirth not tomorrow, the day after, on Monday. I think they're all full, but chances are someone might open up if you want to see it before we do, because everybody else fucking has.
What do you mean
Yep.
the screenings on Monday?
There's the second batch of the GoFobo screenings.
Oh, for fuck's
Second
sake,
batch.
man. The whole of America's going to have
more
seen
than
it before we
there's
get
more
a
than
chance.
second batches. Yeah, it basically has. All of America has seen it.
Absolutely
Speaking
ridiculous.
of America, when I was on operation, when the fucking Americans came in, they took all of our good data reception. So fuck them.
Oh yeah, this is not an American podcast. I just noticed.
yeah.
Whoa, wait.
There's not a single American on this podcast tonight.
No,
We're fine.
yeah.
I think I don't know. I just feel like it's such a weird marketing move.
It's not like, okay, maybe it's not going to have that big effect on the general audience, but I think the fan community that they're always saying is such a big part of this franchise. I don't think they've quite realized the damage it's like. Derek made a good point that this is not how he wanted to watch the movie the first time. I think I saw Stephen Ray Morris say the same thing, that he felt like it almost ruined his experience the way he watched it. Like there's something about going in opening day, still having questions about this film, all of us together.
Right, exactly. Like everybody saw it on July 2nd, except for the
Shout out
the lucky
JD.
few who got to go to the premiere, or lucky few who got to see it this way. Now it feels like the majority of fans have seen it. I got people DMing me and messaging me and being like, "What do you think of Rebirth?" I'm like, "Buddy, no, it's not July 2nd yet. I have not seen it." Like,
They
I'm
should have
glad
made
you
the
have,
release date
but
June. If they were planning to do this, they should have just made it for June release. If this was the plan to do this whole strategy, because it just feels stupid.
well, they should have
It's already
opened early. Like they did a couple screen unscenes, and then they were like, let's just drop the movie now." That would have been virally. That would have been really interesting. People would have been like, "Whoa, it must be good. Let me go see it." That would have got bums in seats.
Because there's nothing actively releasing at the minute big, is there? There's been a bit of a lull since Mission Impossible?
How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon movie.
Yeah,
sorry, yeah, which was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Very
Universal.
Yeah,
they should have opened Rebirth early. I think that would have been really effective. Just like because when has that ever happened before? I'm sure maybe it has, but like when a movie's set for July 2nd, we're 2 weeks out, and Universal just go, actually, dump it.
I've got a feeling there's probably a technical reason, like the way they work with theater chains and stuff.
Sure,
as to why
theaters would be scrambling trying to make stream, but that would be part of the fun. It'd be like, wait, is your theater playing Rebirth? Like,
because they'd have to have had it. Like theaters don't want screens going empty, and they have to. I don't know how it all works. It's a complicated system, I assume.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's a weird rollout. People have a lot of criticism. Come July 2nd, nobody's really.
And it's not just the people that haven't seen it; it's people that have seen it that are also critical of this approach. Like, it's had a negative effect, and I think that's something they need to take on board.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I don't know for you guys, but for me, I'm going to the premiere in Australia, but until the Outpost reviews, I was really pissed off. It felt like a punch in the gut. As an international fan and shit like that like most of America's seen it. They've spoiled most of the TV spots. I wasn't excited at all until the rest of the gang at Outpost posted their reviews. That's what made me excited again. That's what, like, hell yeah, the new
Don't
Jurassic
say that, because this is going to Universal. I'm going to be like, well, our marketing plan's working. Look, you've got some people that saw it.
I guess, yeah, but it's still it's still. If that didn't happen and none of the Outpost people got the opportunity of like going and things like that, because that was another thing. Random people were getting invited to these things, but some of the Outpost people weren't getting invited to these things, which was pretty shit.
So I was at the London premiere, not in the London premiere, but I was at, and it was quite interesting because there hadn't been. We'd received some information ahead of time about where and when things were going to be. There wasn't like any public access as far as I could see, unless perhaps maybe if you'd gotten there earlier in the day. It was a bit confusing. They had influencer access, and then like the guests for the premiere, and they sort of all started arriving after I did. The only person I saw I recognized was Sacha Darwin, or I can't think what his name is, from Doctor Who. He played the Master for a few years. But the number of people who turned up who were clearly like they just bought their way in, and also the number of people who clearly didn't give a shit. Like, I think a guy passed me dressed to the nines who said like, "Oh no, I'm coming out now. If we don't make it back, it's no biggie." And I'm like, God, there's people who would be clamoring to be here right now, and like you just. But all around me, people were stopping. I mean, at least they'd set up some of the screens so people outside could see what was going on. Like when I got there, the background set up with like the logo and the fences and everything, you could see that just enough over the fences, which was quite cool. And like people were stopping all around me and sitting on these lawn chairs and just watching the whole presentation, which was really, really sick. So again, I think it's just the sort of thing, like you don't need to close it off to the world. You let people get involved, let there be hype. They could have tweeted the day before like, "Hey London, we're here tomorrow, represent," and people would have shown up.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But it's also weird that they didn't invite like any actual like influencers or content creators, because there is a few in the UK as well, like you guys and Tom and things like that. Like the fact that no one like that got invited to the UK one
like
is
gaming people, man. Like,
gaming
Daz Black was there.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who else.
I don't know who that is, so I'm sorry, but yeah.
Oh, it's like a big gaming YouTuber.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. Like I don't know. I just like to see more fans get like access to these experiences and things like that, because I'm grateful that I'm going to the Universal premiere and things like that. But I know for an American,
it's a little bittersweet, isn't it, at the tail end? Especially
it is like with all the shit that's happened with the marketing and stuff like that. It is bittersweet. It does feel like a punch in the gut, and the wind's been taken out of the sails. That's the best way to say it.
But at least you're gonna see it still before it sees Alex and myself.
Oh, barely. It's not even 24 hours, is it?
I know,
the salt.
I know.
Aziz could just go across the border and see it on the 30th if he wanted to.
No, thank you. I'll wait.
He's not crossing that line. Guys, this is a good place to wrap, but this is a good point.
Canada.
This is the four. This is the four of us. This is the last time we will speak, probably before we all see the movie. This is the last time.
The survivors of Jurassic World Rebirth's marketing.
Yeah,
the survivors of
Everyone else has seen the film and is in the ground.
Any final thoughts? Anything about Rebirth? What do you think? Do you think you're going to like the movie?
I think it's going to be a great time. And I think go out and if you're a Jurassic fan, go out and represent. Just go out, just maybe try to drop your expectations in some respects and just try to have a good time and enjoy it for what it is and enjoy the fact that, Jurassic is still alive and kicking.
Yeah. Yeah, I ditto to what Alex said, but also with the reviews of like what the Outpost guys have been saying, like, the one thing that I've been championing in this podcast is like it feels like Jurassic Park 3 Part 2. And I'm hearing a bit of that. And my Spinosauruses are back. I think I always say that I think we're going to be in safe hands with the movie. I'm excited to go see it. I know we've been pretty critical, but that's only with the marketing and things like that, and just like the whole perspective of the movie and shit like that. But I'm excited to discuss everything with you guys and shit like that after the movie comes out and really digest everything of what we've just seen and our burning questions of like, well, should have this been a prequel or something like that? I'm excited for all that shit.
I agree. We'll absolutely reconvene once the movie's out. Assis, do you think you're going to enjoy it?
We'll see.
No hype.
Pay no attention to our resident Canadian. He's just being difficult for the sake of being difficult.
Whoa. Can you imagine the Canadian being difficult? That's not true.
Wait.
Everybody is entitled to their opinion except Aziz.
Canadian man critiques The Lost World, I just tune out because it's just silly. It's just silly stuff. Anyway, thank you for listening to the Lost World.
What about you, Jack? Are you excited?
Yeah, but
of course he's not.
I am, but I feel like that hype that was there for it to be, this is potentially the JP4. I feel like that's kind of gone.
Yeah,
and I haven't. Even
we peaked 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think we got in such a hype train, and I knew in the back of my head I was like, it's still the world era. It's still a world movie. It's still the same studio. It's still Spielberg pushing out the same kind of film. Even though we have Kev, even though we have Gareth. In the back of my head, I was like, it might still be shit, but I really wanted it to be good. I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it's better than the world movies anyway. So in that sense, I guess I am excited. I just feel like the hype. I was more excited to see 28 years later, if I'm honest, at that point. Once people started seeing it, and I was waking up to all these reviews on Twitter, I was like, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah, Jurassic World is not for us. I'm waiting for Jurassic Park to kind of come back, and it doesn't seem like it's happening now.
I don't know. We'll see.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Like the originals, so we shall see. But again, June 30th is the real embargo date, so we'll see real reviews come out from people that aren't connected to the franchise in the same way we are. So that's when we'll know for sure where this movie's going to land. But aside from that, guys, Alex, Assis, Jaden, different time zones for all of us. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. Fuck off, I guess.
Yeah, fuck off, man. Leave us alone.
Yeah, fuck you.
What a way to this is the last time people are going to hear us for, the last few people before they see the film. What a way to end.
Fuck off.
Jack started it and then ended it. He started with saying fuck Universal, and then he ended it saying fuck off.
Well, we have a bunch of UK, Canadian, and Australian people here, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
We're a bunch of aggressive fucking losers.
Go fuck yourselves, guys.